Our Community and Workforce Innovation Fund will provide small grants to businesses implementing innovative workforce development strategies, including providing job training or opportunities for people at risk of or experiencing houselessness, or community organization will be providing services in the district that supports the ESD goals. All grants funds must be used for projects located in the Central East Side. Finally, we will create a new 501c3 nonprofit to manage the ESD. This organization will have robust internal controls and transparent finances. An external audit annually will be performed, and an annual report will be provided to all district payers and other stakeholders. In addition, we will host biannual property owner and stakeholder meetings to secure community feedback. The ESD will be governed by a diverse, all-volunteer board of directors. This group of 10 to 20 volunteers will represent all of the district stakeholders, including having up to 3 directors representing vulnerable populations. The property management license fee will be based on each parcel's improved value, building square footage and land square footage. An annual escalator of 2.3% will start in the 2020 license year, and we expect this formula to generate $1.2 million in year 1 and $4.1 million over the 3-year life of the ESD. The ESD's total year 1 budget is $2.6 million, which includes $1.2 million in ESD assessments and $1.4 million in transportation parking funding. Both streams are restricted. And finally, I want to note that while nonprofit best practices state that administration should represent no more than 20% of an organization's budget, our ESD is well below that figure, ensuring that almost 90% of all revenue will be spent on programs and services benefiting the district. You've heard me and Brad say repeatedly that the Central East Side is complicated because of the size and scale of the properties and owners in our district. As of today, we have secured ESD support letters representing nearly 60% of the district, and know that this proposal is widely supported district-wide. But you don't have to take my word for it. This proposal is, there are a number of property owners here that will tell you why they support this proposal and are not just willing, but excited to pay into our innovative ESD. I'll turn it over to Commissioner Meyer.
Thank you so much, and greetings, Mayor and Commissioners. I am so pleased to be here today to voice my support for the CEIC Enhanced Services District proposal you are considering. And I don't know if I need to say my name for the record or anything. Sharon Myron, Multnomah County Commissioner from District 1.
Thanks, Commissioner.
So I feel that this opportunity today represents a unique and different way of doing business as an ESD that I find hopeful and encouraging. The Central East Side is in District 1, which is in my district, and it also is home to the building I work in nearly every day. As a county commissioner, one of my top priorities is improving access to mental health and substance use disorder services. I'm also very involved in addressing housing and houselessness in our community, especially our region's dire need for more affordable, deeply affordable, and supportive housing. Through the Joint Office of Homeless Services and work at the city and the county, we're working on strategies that I believe will move the dial, and in fact are already moving the dial in the right direction. But many of the strategies are long-term. The reality today, I don't know if I'm fading in and out, but the reality today is that there are a lot of people experiencing houselessness in the Central East Side and all across our community. What we see in our streets is an experience often characterized by distress, displacement, loss of dignity, and trauma. We need some short-term strategies that can address what is happening on the ground today. I think this proposal represents an important and powerful shift in how we collectively respond to the needs in our community. Not with more displacement, more distress, more trauma, but instead with new approaches to support safety and dignity for all who live, work, or visit the Central East Side. This plan will not and cannot solve our housing crisis, nor the urgent need for behavioral health services in our community. I think we often look for that silver bullet that will give all of us an aha moment where we say, oh, here's something no one has ever thought of before, and we can solve whatever crisis is at hand. But that is not something that really happens in the real world. No single sector, local government, business, healthcare, philanthropy, can do it alone, but we can make an impact together. What really stood out to me when I first spoke with Juliana from the CEIC was that they were thinking about this differently. The process was different. From the very beginning, it was clear that they wanted to find a way to address a problem that is all too real with a broad and inclusive perspective. I found that sometimes we don't know what we don't know. Often the time we don't know what we don't know. And this has become all the more apparent in my role as an elected official. But the key is to be willing to listen, to learn, and to adapt. CEIC has demonstrated a sincere willingness to think critically, listen, to be open to new ideas and honest feedback, and change course when that need becomes apparent. And they continue to come to the table to create a better program, better policy, and better buy-in. I've been really impressed with CEIC and want to acknowledge their work in arriving at this proposal today. They're walking the walk to show others how you can partner effectively, thoughtfully, and collaboratively in this kind of work. I want to highlight some provisions of this revised plan that I believe are particularly important and complement our efforts at the county and with the city. First, trash removal and cleanup. There is a clear need for this in the community. This benefits not only business owners, but residents, the public, and people who are houseless and do not have adequate access to waste disposal. Second, unarmed safety and crisis response. If done well, I think this can actually improve everyone's feeling of safety in the community. And I do want to also highlight the peer aspect of this. So they're focusing and highlighting the need for peers to do the work. Third, opportunities for improved hygiene access through the Innovation Fund, which is a community health advocate, and as someone who simply believes people have a right to live with dignity, I particularly appreciate. And finally, and one of the most important aspects of the revised plan, is the diverse, expanded representation on the ESD Board of Directors. I think many of us in this room have read the research about the harms that business improvement districts can inflict on marginalized groups in a community. But I feel confident that this proposal is far from business improvement district as usual. While things sometimes feel depressing on the political front at the national level, this is truly an opportunity for us to do something here today and become a model for other neighborhoods and jurisdictions across the state and the country. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner. We appreciate you being here.
Good morning, Bobby Lee, Director of Economic Development across Portland. Good morning. You sit. Yeah, so I don't know how much more I can possibly add. Across Portland did help convene a meeting with multiple stakeholders recently, and I think that the feedback that we got was it was a very productive meeting, and that as you can see from the presentation, there was been a great compromise that's been made. One thing that Brad mentioned was that Central East Side, the constant is a constant change. But one thing about Central East Side is that through many economies over time in Portland history, Central East Side has been the generator of middle-class jobs. And from the shipyards on forward, Central East Side has been just a very fascinating place that has been the constant around economic development, especially on middle-class jobs. And especially as we try to move to creating more of an urban manufacturing and manufacturing in general, the industry tends to be diverse. And so from a social equity standpoint and an inclusive economy standpoint, manufacturing is a good way to go. And with all the economies changing, we need to find new and better ways to nurture the Central East Side. And so I see this as an attempt to do that. One thing I really enjoy about this proposal is that I have worked on a lot of ESDs in other cities. This is probably the most progressive and multidimensional ESD that I've come across by far. And so congratulations to all of you and the stakeholders who've been participating. It is a compromise, and the word compromise means you can't always get 100% what you want. But considering the ESDs in other communities, the concern has been that businesses are serving business needs through their investments. That's been often the criticism for ESDs. But this one, with the governance structure that you've seen, has been changed. It allows diversity on the board and accountability and transparency. And also, the program design was in compromise with community stakeholders. So with all that in mind, and considering this is a 3-year proposal with every year you have the opportunity to also provide input, I think we have a really strong proposal. So congratulations to all of you and the stakeholders. And with that, we're in full support of this proposal. Thank you for your time.
Hello, I'm Juliana Lukasik, and I've been involved in implementing an ESD for the Central East Side for more than 2 years. I am also a small business owner, and my company is At Large Films, which has operated in the Central East Side since 2002. I also am a past president of the Central East Side Industrial Council, both as someone actively involved in shaping the Central East Side, as well as someone who cares deeply about the plight of our most vulnerable populations. I wanted to be part of a program that looked at the problems facing us with a different lens. We started this process by looking at ESDs and BIDs both in Portland and around the country. We looked at best practices in all of them and tailored our ESD to fit a diverse district that is predominantly small businesses. The reason I have been so passionate and engaged along the way is that I truly believe that an ESD can have positive outcomes for everyone. An ESD is an opportunity for businesses to partner with the city and the county to establish programs that are effective, sustainable, and sustainable. In creating our services plan, we wanted to explore ways to think differently and to innovate and to be innovative in how we approach these issues. From building relationships to vulnerable people to supporting peer-based programs like Central City Concern, we aspire to do things differently. Being the first contact to convince small businesses and legacy property owners to support the implementation of an ESD was my main role in this process. In nearly every case, their first response was that the city should be doing this. I was able to convince them because of the promise of a partnership with the city, county, and service providers to work together to truly make a difference. Since this is a 3-year investment, property owners and managers signed on to support an ESD because they care deeply about the Central East Side and the city as a whole. These business owners are compassionate, and I have been deeply honored to have met with so many passionate advocates for our community. I would like to thank each one of you for your role in helping us shape this program. I'm extremely excited to come to you today with an ESD services plan that is much closer to my original vision thanks to your input and guidance. With the input from all of you, as well as from Right to Survive, this ESD will be a role model for other districts in Portland and other cities for how an ESD can work for everyone in their community. I urge you all to vote yes on implementing the Central East Side ESD, and thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mayor Wheeler and Commissioners. I'm Nancy Stuber. I'm the President and CEO of the Oregon Museum of Science and Industry, OMSI. And OMSI's been a proud part of the Central East Side for the last 28 years since we moved into the neighborhood. We employ 250 people, and what many people don't realize is that in addition to the museum operation, we operate an exhibit fabrication business that not only fills the museum with exhibits, but they travel around North America. But even more, we serve more than 1 million people a year, and of those, we have 25,000 households of people in the city and neighborhoods all across the city who come to the East Side, who come to OMSI, and who are part of our base. So I strongly support the ESD, and I urge you to improve it. OMSI's been part of this ESD discussion for the last several years, and I've been really impressed with what you've heard about today, the extensive research and the stakeholder involvement process that has led to this proposal. Like the Central East Side, OMSI's changing as well. OMSI's investing in the development of a signature district for the city. It's the hub for an emerging innovation quadrant. And the ESD is an important tool for managing that growth and change, making sure that the Central East Side is safe and that the diverse transportation needs that we're all facing are addressed, among the other things you've heard about. It's a demonstration of the commitment of property owners to contribute to the district. As a nonprofit with limited resources, OMSI must keep a focus on things that are mission-driven. But we will invest in the ESD because we care about the larger community and we take responsibility for doing our part.